What's up, guys? This is Wes with Fantasy Smack Talk, bringing you my top pivot picks for Week 11 in the NFL FanDuel Sunday Million. Before I get into my picks, just want to remind y'all to check out FantasySmackTalk.com. Find the story with this video and a bunch of other great content. Also, check us out on Twitter at Fantasy Advice. We'll get all your questions, roster, lineup, trade, everything you need answered there. And all your lineup questions, especially answered by Game Time on Sunday. So at Fantasy Advice is your go-to resource on Sunday mornings. All right, this week, my top quarterback pivot play is going to be Alex Smith. Alex Smith priced at $7,900 against the Giants. Obviously a great matchup, but I think a lot of the other guys at the quarterback position, guys like Tom Brady, Carson Wentz, and Dak Prescott, will get a lot of the attention. Keep Smith's ownership to hopefully around 9% owned, probably more realistically 10 or 11 or 12. Either way, it makes Smith an attractive option. In Week 11, the Giants are allowing the third most FanDuel points to opposing quarterbacks, and Smith has a 10-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio while averaging about 275 yards a game since Week 5. So I think Smith's ceiling is capped by the blowout potential in this game, but all in all, I think he's a remarkably safe option, and you're not going to find a better, more kind of safe pick at quarterback at $7,900 than Alex Smith this week. Running back, my top guy is Chris Thompson. Chris Thompson, regardless of position, is probably my favorite play of the week. Only $6,800 in New Orleans to take on the 7-2 Saints. His ownership will be depressed, I'm sure, by his last two pretty average performances. Recency bias is probably the strongest indicator of ownership in this tournament I found over the last couple years. So New Orleans, they fared well against running backs, but that's a little misleading. They've given up big games to guys like Jordan Howard, Aaron Jones, and Christian McCaffrey. Certainly not a crop of superstars, but not a group of scrubs either. So Chris Thompson will be one of the better backs that the Saints have faced all year. Most importantly to me is the success that pass catching backs have had against New Orleans. James White had 8 of 8 targets in Week 2. Christian McCaffrey caught 9 balls in Week 4 or 5, I believe. And then just a few weeks ago, last month, Theo Riddick had 5 catches against this team. So obviously Chris Thompson's best asset is his hands, his ability to find space as the check-down receiver for Kirk Cousins. So he's remarkably safe in this game. He's scored under 8 FanDuel points just once since Week 4. And again, with the opportunity to catch 4, 5, or 6 balls in a half-point PPR format like FanDuel, there's no one that you're going to find safer at that price point than Chris Thompson against the Saints. All right, wide receiver, my top guy this week is A.J. Green, one of my also top plays of the week regardless of position. Even in a matchup with Denver, A.J. Green is still A.J. Green, one of the game's 4 or 5 best receivers. So I think his ownership will probably be 11 or 12%. But, the Broncos are top 5 in the NFL in FanDuel points allowed to opposing receivers. Overall, they have the NFL's 4th best defense according to FanDuel's metrics. So you look a little bit deeper, though. This is what makes A.J. Green appealing to me. The best receivers that have taken on Aqib Talib and the company there in Denver's secondary have had really strong performances this year. Guys like Alshon Jeffrey, Des Bryant, Keenan Allen, and Travis Benjamin twice have each had 10-plus point performances against the Broncos. And, of that group, A.J. Green is kind of without question the best and the most talented or the most talented receiver, I should say. But you know what? A.J. Green coming off his third 20-plus point performance on FanDuel of the year. A top target for me. I don't care what his ownership is as long as it's below 13%. Again, against Denver, I think it will be. But at that $7,800 price point, you're getting him for a discount, and there's really not a lot of other appealing options at the position this week. Finally, at tight end, I'm rolling back with Hunter Henry. Not sure why. Unlike the Chargers, I can't stop going back to Hunter Henry. It seems like they can't find ways to get him the ball, even with Keenan Allen struggling. So Henry, 2 straight games with 2 targets and under 2.1 FanDuel points. The recency bias that we talked about earlier, I'm hoping I'm the only one on Henry this week. I don't think I should be, though, in Week 11. I mean, he's been maddeningly inconsistent, obviously. Before these last 2 duds, he had 5 straight games over 8.5 FanDuel points. And Buffalo's actually a pretty good matchup for tight ends and for Henry. Buffalo's been struggling on both sides of the ball. just announced on Wednesday that Tyrod Taylor will sit this week. And for Henry, he'll probably be the best receiver that the Bills have faced all year, at least top 2 or 3. So Buffalo's allowed 81 points in its last 2 games, and their defense, like its offense, is just trending in the wrong direction. So I'm betting Henry can take advantage of that on Sunday. I'm betting the Chargers will win. And for the Chargers to win, they really need Hunter Henry to be involved. And I don't know why they can't figure that out. So those are my picks for the week. Appreciate y'all taking the time to watch the video.